What's up, everybody? Welcome back. Move the Sticks 360. Daniel Jeremiah, joined as always by Bucky Brooks. Nobody in that chair over there because we have a very special guest in the monitor today, Daniel Braverman, wide receiver from Western Michigan. Bucky, one of my favorite, what I thought was a sleeper in this draft class.
Oh, no.
I come to find out he's not a sleeper anymore.
Everyone knows. Anytime you put up over 100 receptions, have over 1,200 yards and 12 tubs, you're absolutely on the radar for scouts.
Well, I'm excited. I'm excited to bring him in here and catch up with him and see what's going on in his world. I imagine you're a pretty busy man right now, Daniel. How's this been for you? Been a little bit of a whirlwind?
It's been crazy the past couple of weeks. A lot of new teams have been calling me up for visits right now, and like this Sunday, I got 3 in a row, and it's been busy, but I'm trying to stay on top of my workouts and my route game, and keeping the craft.
I got to give you a true story. So I had somebody, a buddy of mine, get in touch with me. Maybe a month ago, maybe even 6 weeks ago, and I'm always getting names of different guys I need to watch. And he goes, "Hey, you got to watch this guy Braverman, okay? Just watch him and tell me what you think." I'm like, "Oh yeah, I'll get there. Took me a while, and he goes, and he called me back, say, "Have you watched him?" I said, "Nah, I haven't got a chance, and I'm gonna do it. He goes, "Hey, just do me a favor. Do not tweet anything out about him. Don't talk about him, okay? We love him. Our team loves him. I don't want the word getting out." So I tweeted out, "Hey, I'm anxious to watch this dude, blah, blah, blah." So I watch your tape. Needless to say, I fall in love with your tape. I love your game. And then, but I got to sit on it. I'm like, that's not cool. That's not cool at all. And then I started seeing your name everywhere. I call my buddy back and said, "That's off. That agreement is off. I'm going in on Braverman."
There you go. Let it out.
Danny, a lot of people aren't familiar with your story. So talk about the journey for you getting to Western Michigan and then kind of rising to prominence as one of the top receivers in the country.
High school, I was fortunate enough to go at American Heritage, and then I transferred to university school with Roger Harriet, and we had a great group of guys, probably like 20 D1 guys on that team, and the competition level rose, and we really went hard, and then spring ball came, and I was getting a lot of looks from Big 12, Big 10 schools, ACC, and then they came to my spring, and I wasn't able to practice because I had a sprained ankle, and a lot of teams just dropped off of me, and I was dealt with the couple schools, and I took advantage of the situation by going to Western Michigan. I knew they threw the ball a lot, so anytime I can get the ball in my hands, it's a good situation for me.
I want to ask you about a specific game. We saw some footage there of your pro day. Now seeing you out there doing your thing, Daniel, but the Ohio State game. Did you know going into that game, okay, this is a chance. This is a really big stage for me to showcase what I can do. Was there anything different in your mindset going into that ball game?
Of course, I was excited to play that game. It's Ohio State, #1 team, but coming from South Florida, you play with pressure on you, every game, and there's always a bigger team or better players around you. When I go to these camps, one-on-one camps, I'm going against the 5-star guys, and it's all the same really. Everyone plays football, everyone puts their pants on the same, and when I come to the game, ready, more prepared than a lot of guys, and I take my skill set and my craft with me.
Daniel, we're going to have an honest conversation because I've been in South Florida at some of those one-on-ones, some of those camps, and you have a lot of talking and a lot of guys. Do you feel like sometimes you get stereotyped because when people walk out opposite you, they don't respect your game, they don't think that you can bring it to another level?
Well, funny story, I played on the South Florida Express with Amari Cooper, Duke Johnson, Avery Johnson, Tracy Howard, a bunch of those guys, and for the tryout, it was like 400 guys, and we're getting the one-on-ones because that's what 7-on-7 is. And, first time I go up, guys can't wait to go against me. They're pushing and shoving to go against me, and I beat the first 4 guys easily, guys from Glade Central, Pahokee, Miami Northwestern. And then, around the 5th, 6th time, I'm standing out there and I'm looking for everyone else and no one's coming out. It's like, why'd this change now? But that's how it's been my whole life, kind of like an underdog, chip on my shoulder. I definitely bring that with me everywhere I go, and it's exciting to prove people wrong.
You still have a relationship with Amari? Have you kept up with Amari over the years?
No, he's a quiet guy. He's doing his own thing. Hopefully in the league we'll reconnect. But that team it was a special team. We were really good.
Yeah, that's a pretty darn impressive 7-on-7 team there, Bucky. When we watch him on tape, Bucky, I've kind of gushed about what I love about him with his quickness and his ability to separate what he does after the catch. But I'm gonna let you take a shot at him here. What you watched and tell Daniel what you think of his game.
I mean, we're seeing it from the same viewpoint. The first thing I look at wide receivers are hands, ball skills. What do they do when they have the ball in their hands? And so when I watched him on tape, fell in love with his ability to naturally snatch the ball in space, catch the ball, contested catches. But this is where people make their money. What can you do after the catch? Are you special with the ball in your hands? When I watch him make plays, I'm impressed with the run after catch. Look, I've been schooled by some thought of wide receiver coaches, and they all talk about guys who have kind of like that punt return ability when the ball's in their hands. When I look at Daniel, I love what he does and turning a small game into a big-time play.
Daniel, we showed some footage of your pro day a little bit earlier. How has the testing phase of this whole evaluation thing gone for you?
I'm happy it's over because I take pride in being a football guy and, just playing better football than most guys. And, all that stuff really doesn't, I don't care for that stuff that much. I take pride obviously in my 40, being a 4.4, 4.3. But, everything else, I don't think it really correlates to me being as a football player. And, I think I proved that.
I want to give you a comparison here. I read an article doing some research on you, and I did see where somebody had approached you if you get frustrated with kind of the white-on-white slot guy comparison with Edelman and Wes Welker. You were cool with it because they're really good players. That didn't bother you at all. But, see, I went to a different Patriots slot receiver because I switched it up on you, man. I went Troy Brown. So I'm just breaking.
Okay.
I'm breaking down walls here in this comp business right here. And when you watch Troy Brown, I don't know if you were familiar with him, watching him at all growing up. But somebody, man, you talk about quickness and toughness. That's the underrated aspect in the slot there. We talk so much about being able to get away from people. You got to have some toughness to work in the middle of the field like that, don't you?
Yeah, no, he's great. He also plays some defense, so you knew he was tough. What I really like about him is he has great spatial awareness. And he's looking to score every time he touches the ball. There's guys that like to go out of bounds or not looking for that next cut to, go take it to the house. But that's one thing that he always did was always try and score and make the best of every play.
See, you already knew where I was going because I wanted to show you some video of Troy Brown playing defense. Because Troy Brown came into the league and throughout his entire career was whatever I have to do to help the team win, and that toughness was displayed on the defensive side of the ball. I don't know if you can see it here. We got some video of Troy Brown doing his thing on the defensive side of the ball. So your game, right? You get approached to go ahead and help out on the other side of the ball. You can do that as well.
Oh, yeah. I played safety throughout my whole life, even a little bit in high school. I'm a ball hawk. Wherever the ball is, I want to be around it. So I take pride in being a smart football player. I understand offenses, so whatever I need to do, really, I'll do it.
I'm gonna bring it up to speed because Daniel threw out an old school comparison to Troy Brown. I'm gonna say Cole Beasley, and not necessarily because like you guys have the same paint job or you look like white on white.
You say paint job? You just dropped the paint job on
paint
it?
job.
I like the paint job.
But what I'm gonna say is the run after catch, the ability to be special with the ball in hand, it's a unique skill, and then the route run ability to be able to separate. Have you looked at Cole Beasley? Are there things that you can take from his game and add to yours?
Oh, I study a lot of guys. Cole Beasley was one of them. Randall Cobb, Antonio, T.Y. I'm always watching new guys and trying to find new tricks. And one thing about Cole is he catches with his hands over the middle, which is great. I think on this catch, he shows the toughness and the playmaking ability. But one thing that he does the best is he's quick. Everyone wants to get bigger and stronger and faster, but quickness sometimes overcomes a lot of those things.
One thing I know about you, I talk about your toughness. I've been to your school, okay? I was scouting. I went through there and when Jason Babin was coming out. And I can promise you, maybe one of the coldest days of my life, sitting up in the stands up there. How in the world did you adjust to that coming from where you came from?
Man, the first year was tough, but, I kept a goal in mind that I want to play in the NFL. And if I want to play in the NFL, the biggest games are in the cold. That's playoff weather, and that's what I, want to do, and that's what I live for. So I just found a way to get my mentality right and try and embrace it.
One thing I'm looking forward to seeing is because I always see the South Florida guys work out, then they post whatever they're doing on YouTube. So I'm looking forward to seeing some of your fancy footwork, some of those releases, some of those Antonio Brown type things on YouTube. Do you have some of that stuff in your game?
Yeah, I got a couple YouTube videos up, not a YouTube, Instagram videos up of me doing, some karaoke step slants and some pivot outs and stuff like that. So you should definitely check it out.
Yeah, well, don't miss an opportunity here. We get a lot of views on this, so let's let the folks at home know where they can find your social media accounts. Let them rip.
At dbrave8, at dbrave_8, and that's for Twitter and Instagram.
Oh, there you go. You need to make sure that you're following my man here. Not a sleeper. Trust me, not a sleeper. Everybody in the NFL knows about him. He's been on all kinds of visits. He was kind enough to join us here today. Daniel, we wish you the best of luck through the process. One of our favorite players to watch. We'll be in Chicago. Looking forward to finding out where you're going to end up.
Thanks for having me, man. I really appreciate this. I appreciate both you guys complimenting me on my game. It means a lot. Thank you, guys.